By the way, I listen to Marketplace every day, and it's a little weird, even though I already knew Molly. We've already done things together, but hearing you on NPR takes a weird little ladder for you to climb up. Now I feel like I'm way, way down here.
Oh,
No!
Stop
Come
that.
on, Scott
Wait.
Johnson.
Come on, Scott.
You're the future.
Yeah, the
True.
future.
If Molly's way up there and you're below Molly, then I must be like.
No, none of that. None of that is true. None of that.
We're all who we are, and we're all
You guys-
fantastic.
The world is flat.
That's
Or something.
according
like
to
that.
Bob. Remember, just call me Brancaccio, and it'll be like you're right at home. Everything will be fine.
He's my favorite.
Great.
Okay. Wait, what did I do? Turn on this block. That's right. Okay.
Okay, can somebody tweet this at me so I can retweet it?
Yes, I can. Hold on.
I'm like, could I be more talent right now?
What? It's Mollywood. Wait, no, I haven't tweeted these in so long. Mollywood and at Scott.
Yeah. As
And
Jimmy well knows, I will accidentally tweet the Hangout link and like.
oh god, yeah, and
Oh, is
blood
that
the
happening?
thing.
Lynn
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, that probably didn't go well.
Yeah.
on DTNS. Oh wait, I have to pull the link. Hold on. Daily Tech News YouTube. Guys, don't you love hearing this out loud? It's just the best.
I really do.
This is how the sausage is made.
Mm-hmm.
There are several sausages being made right now. Okay.
No,
Any-
I'm just not saying anything anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Hold on. Noise
Zip it.
detecto. That is detecto. Here, I sent you a possibly offensive thing you can retweet.
Awesome. My favorite. Oh, peanut.
I know. All right. So you good? You in the dock? You feel good?
I'm in
tried
the
to write
dock.
in.
I feel great.
Tried to write in your voice. I'm sticking around. I'll be around.
Could be off in a muted state, but if we need
Yeah.
her, she'll pop
I'll
in.
be muted but present.
I'll do a little intro, bring you in, talk about you, and then briefly Len, and then bam, headlines, and you know the drill. It's like I'm talking to Tom, but not Tom.
Like Lady Tom.
Lady Tom.
Ladies.
Lady Tom. No, I guess I need to do the other.
That's what I'm gonna cosplay at Dragon
I feel
Con.
anyway, I was going to say I feel like your sketch just went like a hard left. Like
I wish you would have said that about 20 minutes ago. That would have. No, last week's that was kind of like a Lady Tom.
All right, we're live on the video, live on the audio. I'm recording. Are you recording, Scott Johnson?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's do
High
this.
fidelity business here. All right, let's do it. Everyone ready?
Yes.
Take that as a
Yeah.
yes. All right, here we go. Begins. 3, 2, 1.
In a world where technology changes faster than the human race can adapt, there's only one place to turn. The Daily Tech News Show with Tom Merritt and guests. But they need your help. Go to dailytechnewsshow.com to find out how.
This is the Daily Tech News Show. I'm Scott Johnson. It's Friday, February 5th, 2016, and Tom Merritt is in Las Vegas. He is not here. I am taking the reins, at least for today only. And you might be glad I did, or you might be sad I did. Either way, one day, let's make it work. Today with me, joining me, I'm so excited, Molly Wood from American Public Media's Marketplace. Welcome to the show, Molly.
Hey, Scott, I can't tell you how guilty I feel right now that I somehow managed to get on the show with you hosting. Like, sorry, Tom. Love you, bro. Love you. Forever.
Yeah,
It's
the one time you do it, you get me. But I'm
excited. We're going to have a great show.
We are. We're going to talk about stuff that I think we're both mutually interested in. So looking forward to our discussion today and our headlines, of course. Also with us, Len Peralta, who will be drawing this whole mess.
Yes, this is going to be exciting. This is a first for us, Scott. We've never done the DTNS before.
Not together, no. We've had lots of meetings on the outside and other stuff, but never have you drawn while I guest hosted, and certainly never with Molly in here. I feel like there's a perfect storm of some sort.
There is. I'm a little bit nervous, so if I don't really, if it doesn't happen for me today, just ignore me. So.
All right, there you go. Lower your expectations, everybody.
Lower your expectations.
Not a bad idea. All right, well let's jump right in. We'll start with the headlines. Let's jump right in with something from Nintendo. Nintendo President Tatsumi I always say it wrong, Kimishima announced that the company will not move forward with its planned sleep monitoring device. This idea has been around for a while, and everybody wondered what happened to it. Wired reports that the monitor has been in development since 2014 as part of Nintendo's Quality of Life program. It was designed to track and analyze the sleep habits of its users, with the data presented in a, quote, fun Nintendo-like fashion, unquote. Kimishima did not rule out the other QOL products in the future. I don't know that we're ever going to see much from this, though, because when it was announced and they talked about it at E3 and other conferences, it kind of fell flat. I do not see Nintendo caring that much about lifestyle devices moving forward, especially when their core business is a little bit threatened right now.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good time to hunker down and focus on video games. And plus, everybody realized all at the same time that sleep tracking thing, like if you're a bad sleeper, you already know it because you're tired all the time.
You don't need a tracker to tell you in the morning that you tossed and turned a lot or got up and go to the bathroom 5 times.
You just really don't. Just really don't. According to Mark Gurman at 9to5Mac, Apple plans to upgrade its iPhone trade-in program to give credit for iPhones with damaged screens, cameras, and buttons, all of the weakest links on your iPhone. Sources say the users could receive $50 credits for iPhone 5s, $200 for 6s, and $250 credits for an Apple iPhone 6 Plus. Apple hopes this will encourage new iPhone purchases instead of repairs. Apple stores will also start to offer official plastic screen protector installations on iPhones in the coming weeks using a dedicated Belkin machine located in the back of the store. You know what they're not going to do? Make the phones tougher, make the cameras flush, and make the buttons less flimsy.
Okay.
Just keep buying. Just keep buying.
I am with you. However, well, actually, I'm totally with you, because doesn't this sort of dash against the rocks all of our hopes and plans that we would eventually see special glass coming out of these phones in the future? This seems like a way of them saying, don't count on it exactly. They're still kind of breakable.
No, what it's saying is spend an ungodly amount of money on this phone. And in fact, this is like an almost verbatim memorized quote from a friend of mine on Facebook who just posted, okay, I just bought a new iPhone. It's super expensive. And now I have to spend $200 on a battery extender and a screen protector and an adapter for my headphones because the battery pack doesn't, the headphones don't fit now. So I'm in another $200 for this thing. And meanwhile, she's so afraid of dropping it that she's carrying around it in a sock. She's carrying it around in a sock.
It's bad. I think it's dangerous what this could present if they're going to do more of this. And if we're really not going to get headphones or a normal headphone jack with the next set, even if it's a full wireless solution, the whole thing smells bad to me. So get your crap together, Apple. Speaking of broken iPhones, The Guardian reports that if an iPhone 6 owner has had their home button or internal cable replaced by unauthorized repair providers, and there are plenty of them out there, and then they install iOS 9, that user will get an Error 53 message. This bricks their phone in many cases. I don't know that it's 100% across the board. An Apple spokesman said that the security measure is designed to prevent a compromise of the Touch ID Center, which could lead to the release of stored fingerprint IDs or Apple Pay information. Users encountered the Error 53. Those people should contact Apple support right away. When the freelance photographer Antonio Almos went to Apple with his bricked phone, all the staff could do was replace it with a new one. So back up all your data. It's very possible you'll walk out with a new phone, which, for good or worse, maybe that's not so bad, but make sure you back up before you go.
That Apple third-party ecosystem is so shady. Google Chrome can now support security improvements added to Windows 10 last November, so yay for security. According to Ars Technica, the support covers enabling non-system font blocking on an as-needed basis, process restrictions to prevent the creation of non-sandbox child processes, and it can prevent the loading of low-integrity executables and non-local DLLs. In layman's terms, it can stop malicious code from using fonts, non-local program libraries, or unsandboxed processes from screwing with your machine. I would argue that that is only remotely layman's term.
Only barely, but also it doesn't sound like it's going to make it perform any better than I currently get Chrome to perform. So I'd like to know what the impact of that is, but sure.
2 words, memory leak.
Yep. All over the place is where that'll leak. Last week, we told you that Google's machine intelligence program, AlphaGo, had defeated, this was actually one of my shows when I was guest hosting, or guest starring, the top player in the ancient game of Go. Now, there is a set date for the next challenge. So if you're keeping an eye on that hot sport, here's your next bit. Engadget reports that March 9th, DeepMind's AlphaGo program will take on the top-ranked Go player in the world, South Korea's Lee Sedol. The $1 million match will be broadcast live on YouTube from Seoul. According to Lee, I have heard that Google's DeepMind AI is surprisingly strong and getting stronger, but I am confident that I will win at least this time, unquote. So I feel like this is the Watson of our day. This is our let's get Jeopardy Jeopardy champ try to beat a computer. This is the next generation, the next evolution of that, Molly, and who knows, the sky's the limit after that, I suppose.
And they were doomed.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing.
That's how AI stories always end. Like first it's Go, then it's the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
Go.
I have loved reading all of the stories about why Go is so hard. Like as an ancient game, I just think it's fascinating.
Yeah,
but
Go.
yeah.
I've only ever actually had the only experience I've had with Go was watching two people in Hong Kong play it at a table at an outdoor cafe. And I had no idea what I was witnessing, but I could tell something was happening that seemed like it was probably pretty rad. I have no idea what the crap was going on, so if I'm like that, I'm guessing a lot of people are like that. So I'm actually looking forward to this. Maybe I'll learn something. Maybe I'll pick up the ancient game of Go.
I love that the ancient game of Go is now $1 million match that's going to be broadcast live on YouTube. Like that's just, the world is crazy.
Yep.
Foxconn chairman Terry Gou?
Yeah.
Goo? Probably not Goo. The Foxconn chairman said Friday that his company plans to seal a deal to buy the troubled Japanese electronics provider Sharp Corporation by the end of the month. Remember Sharp and the TVs?
Oh, yeah.
I have actually been wondering for quite a long time what was going to happen to Sharp because they have just been in a free fall. The Wall Street Journal reports that Foxconn, based in Taiwan, has reached an agreement on most of the deal points. Foxconn would invest 659 billion yen, that's 5.6 billion US dollars, in Sharp, making it Foxconn's biggest deal to date, also the largest acquisition by a foreign company in Japan's tech sector, and you could speculate not the last.
No, but also, I don't know, this is interesting because Sharp is known in the industry for being the manufacturer of a lot of displays for a lot of other companies. So while Sharp had their own lines, you could walk into a Costco and look at a TV from Sharp. There was a very good chance that other models in that self-same Costco location had Sharp manufactured screens. And in fact, I remember those days where there were like 3 Japanese manufacturers in the world that were making large format screens. It was Sharp, may have been Hitachi, and I can't remember the other one. That's all changed now, lots of Chinese manufacturers and everything else, but maybe they're just buying this and spending this kind of investment to, I don't know, become the great new television provider in an era where there's a decline a little bit on flat screen. So I don't know, it seems like a strange investment, but Foxconn has the money.
Foxconn has the money. I mean, screens aren't going to be a bad investment for probably another few decades, right? Like we're not at holograms yet. We're not pure virtual reality. So I think investing in screens is valuable, but I think there's a really interesting backstory in kind of the rise and fall of these big Japanese tech companies, and that there's a little bit of painful irony in them being purchased by Chinese companies.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So, and you know, the big 3 of Japan were basically Sony, Sharp, and Panasonic, and Sharp has been the first to fall. Panasonic has been in some trouble, and Sony has also struggled, and so I think those are the other 2 to keep an eye on.
Well, and 3D TV didn't do anything any of them expected, and meanwhile, South Korean or Chinese companies are sort of eating their lunch. So, very curious to see how all of that pans out in the end.
I'm gonna say Huawei buys Panasonic. No, all right.
Why not? Sure, they're buying everybody else.
Yeah.
Huawei TV, sure. This weekend, in the big final game of the American football season, for those out of the country and don't know what's going on, it's known as the Super Bowl. This little mom and pop thing that we do on TV on the weekend. Mecha Gobbler in the community flagged us to a Wired article about the Carolina Panthers linebacker Thomas Davis. Now, his right arm was injured in a playoff game a couple of weeks ago, as many of you might be aware. Davis had a 5.5-inch plate and a dozen screws put in his arm, but still really wanted to play in the Super Bowl. Normally, this means you are out. Well, folks, we live in 2016, and the Panthers found White Clouds, the world's largest full-color 3D printing facility in my home state of Utah. There are people who make these face-scanning action figure kiosks in Target, for example. White Clouds put a bunch of designers together to come up with a customized arm brace that was light, breathable, NFL legal, and, of course, orthopedically correct, which I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, I guess it's anatomically correct would be the way of saying it. The printing process took over 30 hours, and Davis has already tried on the brace in practice. Although that 30-hour thing is not a crazy number or it's supposed to be weird in any way. That's how long it takes me to 3D print anything. But Anyway, no word on whether he will actually play, but he could become the very first player in history to have a 3D printed brace in the big game in the Super Bowl, or any game for that matter. I don't know if that's true. Maybe there are other games where guys have played with 3D printed prosthetics. I have no idea.
There actually might be, and I feel like the big story in 5 years could be first player to play with like a 3D printed arm.
Oh man, think of that.
Yep.
But
or
then,
3D printed concussion-proof brain.
But isn't that like you were saying? That's just the beginning. It starts to. I mean,
It's
look.
all just the beginning. Like, just assume it ends in doom. You know.
Yeah. I'll accept your future with open arms.
We'll be long gone.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
The singularity is just far enough. TechCrunch has confirmed, hallelujah, that Instagram is indeed testing the ability for its iOS users to switch between multiple accounts.
No way.
Ugh. Instagram has been testing this feature in its Android app since November, but I'm assuming Apple made it really hard, and they said that adding another platform would increase the likelihood it would become an officially supported feature in the near future. Get your Finstagrams ready to roll. I guess that stands for fake Instagram, but I'm not a millennial, so I don't know.
I don't know. We're old. We're part of the olds.
All I know is when can I have it. That's all. I just want to know when I can have it.
No, I'm glad you're saying this, because I was scratching my head earlier trying to figure out why it would matter to me to have multiple accounts, and then I thought, well, why does it matter that I have like 8 or 9 Twitter accounts that all need managed? And I guess it's the same thing.
Oh my God, it makes me crazy because I have a private Instagram. I'm one of the only, like, clearly I'm not a millennial, right? Because my Instagram is private. What a concept. But I would love to have a professional one, and I started one when I was at the Times and tried to have this sort of like external professional Instagram that would be public facing, and it got so annoying to log in and log out that I eventually gave up on it, and now I can't reset it because I don't work at the Times anymore.
Well, for the record, it's probably the holdup on this, or it taking so long, it's probably Square in their lap. I don't know that it would mean much work for. I mean, that's more about the Instagram deciding how their own API works and how they want to be able to let people tie into it. So I don't know what took them so long, but this does seem like a long overdue thing. So iOS users get excited, and Android people, you've already got it. So I hope it's working out well. Finally, a user named Ace Detect. I've never heard of this guy.
Huh.
Some club out there.
Sounds suspicious.
I know. Hawking ideas on the internet, I don't know. This is a little shady, but we'll get to it anyway. He submitted this item. The Internet Archive has launched a collection of old software from the 1980s and 90s. You might think, well, Internet Archive does a lot of that sort of thing. But guess what it is? It's malware, and it's called the Malware Museum. That's right. It's a collection of classic viruses that used to infect your computers and allow a bunch of colorful animations to pop up informing you that you had been infected, having been on the been on the receiving end of that in the past. Some of this stuff bringing back some funny memories. Anyway, the Malware Museum is, of course, using emulators with the destructive routines of the viruses removed. This allows you, dear listener, to safely experience politely threatening messages from Skynet.com and the little rainbow rectangle of cuckoo.com. There will be a link in the show notes if you want to check it out. And really do not fear. It's not some weird stealth way to have you do it. But I still got to ask, Molly, are you comfortable enough?
No!
Go and run these. You're not?
That is the first thing I would do if I wanted to reintroduce Melissa to the world.
I think I had that one, not intentionally, but
wait, I think I read something about my Chrome being safe from sandbox thingamajiggers now, so maybe I'd feel okay about it.
So even if Internet Archive, this venerable institution of preserving the history of the internet, said to you, "Look, Molly, there's nothing to worry about. You're not going there. You're not doing this."
Are you?
No, I'm not.
Can I jump in and ease your mind here for a second?
Producer Jenny, yes, please.
Just the browser with a little box at the top of it, and like you click the box and it downloads the little thing and it plays the visual of it. It doesn't actually appear outside of your browser.
You're correct.
If you have a secure browser and it's just pretty little pictures, you should be fine. But I understand your concern.
But here's the trick. It's actual code being executed via the browser. The browser is being a virtual machine for it. The only difference is the malicious part of said code has been removed. That's what they tell you. So I'm not saying conspiracy this and that and chemtrails or anything. I'm just saying I got other stuff I can click on. That's all.
Well, I mean, I'm just as long as it's not able to create a non-sandbox child process, and that's okay in Chrome, then I think it's gonna be fine.
Cuckoo.
Thank you, Tom Merritt, for that. And I'm sorry.
That's Tom Merritt?
Detect. I've given it away. Shoot. his grand plan is out in the open, and there's nothing anyone can do.
Just joking.
But that is your headlines for today. Let's jump into today's discussion story. This jumped out at me pretty hard, and I thought it would be interesting to talk about from a couple of different angles, not just the obvious gaming one, which is where it seems to be positioned right now, but it was announced by Epic Games that the Unreal Engine, which is currently a thing that anybody can download and develop in, and they have ways for you to publish your games very inexpensively and very scalably, depending on how small to large you might be doing a project. They have announced that they are going to let you, very soon, build games from within VR. So not in front of a computer screen, the way everything's made now, including VR experiences that are rendered on the fly or whatever. You're going to be in that world, moving objects around, creating routines and subroutines in a visual way. Right now it seems very surface level, like I need to use, move this giant block over here, I need to put an archway here, I need to move these physical things in the world, and since you're going to be in that world, their proportionality and so on will look right to you. If something seems too small, you literally pinch and zoom it to be larger with the touch controls. If you need to move something somewhere else, you simply pick it up and move it there. You rotate it in a similar way. Very cool stuff. They showed a very brief video where Tim Sweeney, the founder of Epic, talked about it a little bit. They say they will give a full announcement coming GDC. But I think this has all kinds of really interesting implications. And I wanted to talk about some of these, just so people can kind of get their heads around what Unreal's position has been previous to this announcement. They were used as the engine for Valkyrie, which is shipping with the Oculus Rift when it comes out this year, starting in March. And they also are famous for everything from Unreal Tournament to a million other things. And they license their engine to many, many huge franchises. And again, in the past, to make these things, you'd sit in front of a computer, you have the big Unreal editor, which has gone through many iterations, move things around with mouse and keyboard, and then play test it in a separate environment. Sometimes same environment, but outside of the editor. This is a big, big deal for gamers, but I thought, Molly, wouldn't it be interesting to see this application outside of that and more traditional stuff? For example, you're trying to create an object-oriented database for, let's say, a hospital. How much more interesting is it if a developer could get into a world where objects are represented by data or data connections and be able to move those things physically around? This sort of happens in Minecraft now, where people are able to create complete circuits and they can create functioning computers. Somebody made an Apple IIe in the world of Minecraft. It essentially had the same functionality, and it was all about moving objects around, and it took them forever. Much more rudimentary than this, but to me, it's not just about video games. It's about this broader development application.
Yeah, absolutely. And two things. One, I am old enough that Unreal Tournament was the first-person shooter that I ever played. Wow. And I have had a soft spot for the Unreal Engine ever since, because I think that was so brilliant of them to just like turn it into a platform before anybody was really talking about platforms. I'm also old enough to remember conversations about object-oriented programming in Java, and I think it's remarkable that we are close to that as a visualized development environment. And I think it is it's enabled by a couple features that only the Oculus Rift is doing right now in virtual reality. And one is that the manipulation with that new controller, which I got to try out at CES, is remarkable and super precise. So you're going to be able to manipulate objects in a way that has not been possible. Obviously, you're going to be able to manipulate them. And also, I'm fascinated by the collaborative possibilities here. The idea that two of you could be working on this.
Or an entire team, or an entire classroom, or
exactly.
2 teachers, or whatever. In fact, Tim Sweeney, I've got a quote here from the video. He makes it very clear about how easy this will be to work with. Here's a small statement from him.
You don't need to learn the user interface. You already know it. Your brain has been working this way since you were a baby.
Basically, creating a system where our innate ability to recognize three-dimensional space and move objects and rotate them, and basically the evolutionary place we're at as human beings has brought us to a place where we are good at that. Why not put us in environments where we can use those skills but to accomplish other things? So it's one thing for me to get in and go, all right, I'm going to build a shooter level here, and wouldn't it be cool if this ramp was right here? All right, now I'll play it. Well, shoot, I don't like where that is, so I'm going to move it over. It all sounds very simple and easy. Even the programming part pops up like an iPad on his wrist in the world, and it's literally an in-world representation of the editor tools that exist outside the world. So you can flip through there like you're using an iPad in space. In fact, they kept using the term iPad as a tablet reference. And if all of that stuff is possible, just imagine what it would be like to say, all right, class, put your helmets on. We're going to go and build, I don't know, a complete circuit, or we're going to try to figure out what the relationship between data and execution is, and we're going to do that visually. So basically you end up with object lessons about things that used to be very abstract and hard to describe.
Yeah, no, it opens up an entirely new world of collaboration and possibilities and engineering. I mean, these are the kinds of things that when people talk about virtual reality, like, I am 100% bullish on VR as a game changer for almost every aspect of life. And this is just one example of how, yes, it's starting in the gaming space just like Oculus, but there are so many phenomenal uses for it. I mean, you could imagine all engineering in the future happening remotely like this. And you could imagine the barrier for entry for building, whether it's physical engineering or coding or mathematics. I mean, if I could learn mathematics this way, if I could learn geometry this way by manipulating objects, by actually understanding three-dimensionality, like, we will live in such an amazing world. Well, you and I might die, but there will be such an amazing world for our kids.
Yeah, we may be dead by then, but you're not wrong, and I would add to that let's say you need to learn about physics. It's a physics lab or something in virtual space. You can apply all the physics. You can apply all the things that real world, natural world has an effect on something, and you can recreate experiments and fabrication ideas and things that we could never do in our current state of things.
Well, there will still be some people who have to learn to code the old-fashioned way, right? Because they'll have to build the experiences. Yeah, like, at what point do we start only building the experiences? In the experience, there's just like there's the Genesis code.
That's
from
right.
which all the experiences are sprung.
Well, in a way, I mean, I don't like to necessarily make fictitious references, but the Matrix is like this, basically, right? Like the Matrix is there's this underlying code that only a few people still know how to read and manipulate, but it is the basis for this. So yes, somebody somewhere, like, as excited as Tim Sweeney and crew are about presenting this, what they aren't talking about is that somebody had to do all this back-end normal in a room with a computer and a desk programming so that we could all get in there and do this.
Yeah.
It goes, even as a quote here, he says, the industry's sweet little secret with VR development is that we're developing these VR experiences while sitting at a PC with a mouse and keyboard. And though this isn't really a secret, it does start to seem like it's a bit of a waste of time. It's kind of like, well, okay, look at it this way. If Molly wants to sit down and make an entire website out of Python, she can do that right now. If she's got the skills and the know-how, she'll sit down in front of that computer and she can do it. Well, what about the computer that's letting you run Python? Who wrote that underpinning stuff? And there's the OS layer, then there's the sub layer, and then you got hardware layers, and you got firmware layers, and eventually you have machine language layers that you didn't have to do any of that.
Yeah, it's just the stack. I mean, this is just abstracting. This is arguably creating a new layer in the stack.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that the underlying knowledge will go away or should go away. And it has to work pretty damn well.
Yeah. Well, the big trick will be, if this is the first step in doing this, we'll know more on March 16th at the Game Developers Conference, where they will announce an actual release date for these tools. And again, these are expected to come to everybody for free, just like the Unreal Engine is currently coming to people for free. I'd be very interested to see if Unity, Crytek, Source, or any other major engine makers and licensors of engines respond to this in any way. They all have engines that work well in VR space, but none of them are kind of inceptioning this and saying we're going to let you develop in VR space. So it'll be interesting to see if they have any kind of response to this sort of thing. But man, imagine a day where 5 Microsoft brilliant programmers are working inside of a virtual room to make the next version of, I don't know, Word even. Be amazing.
Yeah. I don't see, I mean, there's just as much possibility as not that this is vaporware, as sometimes happens in the games world.
Right.
But even if it's not, that future, I believe, will come to pass, and it will be powerful and cool.
It'll be great. Again, check that out. The GDC conference, March 16th in San Francisco, I believe. And there's also some other examples out there. You can see legendary Disney animator Glenn Keane. He draws in virtual reality. It's super cool. That video is awesome. It'll be in the show notes, and if you just search for VR Glenn Keane, you'll find it. He's the brother of Bill Keane, Family Circus creator. and super awesome dude. If you've seen The Little Mermaid, you've seen his best work probably, and he does some amazing stuff in virtual space. And there's other stuff like this Dear Angelica. It's an Oculus Rift third virtual reality film that they put together. That's available now, I think, or at least in the works. And there's an actual demo of this Unreal tool being shown right now on YouTube. We'll also put that in the show notes, so check all of those out.
And I have to say, and I've said this on Twitter, and I'm sure that all of you watching and listening know this by now, but just don't buy your Oculus until the controller comes out. Because I did get the chance to try it out at CES with the controllers, and it is a phenomenal experience. And I've been lucky enough to try out lots of VR in lots of amazing places and lots of Oculus, but that controller is a game changer.
Well, okay, two quick things about that. Have you used the Vive and compared them at all, or?
I haven't used the Vive. That's actually true. I didn't make it to the Vive booth. I'm
very curious about how they play together, because those are, if there's an analogous VR solution that's here, it's those two guys.
Yeah.
Yes, VR is going to have kind of their own world happening, and it's not necessarily comparable, although a lot of people think they may lead in this fight right away. But these two are the most, closely related, the most analog for each other. But I really have no idea. Like right now, as a consumer, I'm like, which one do I get? And honestly, I pulled the trigger on the one that's coming out first, so I'm going to end up with an Oculus. But you say wait for this controller that's not even FCC approved yet. Are you worried it won't be, or from what you experienced, do you think everything's going to be fine?
I think there's a reasonable concern. I think it's really, I think it's troubling that it's delayed. Yeah. And if it were me and obviously like casual buyers aren't necessarily leaping into the Oculus Rift, but some would. I would be tempted to get it and upgrade my rig and do the whole thing just because it's such a remarkable experience, but I don't want to do it until it's done. And I think that if you're going to make a big investment, make sure it's baked.
Yeah, it's like my mom in high school bought me an airbrush, but didn't buy me the compressor because they were out and it was useless. So I don't know if this is exactly the same, but wait for the controller. You heard it here first, Molly Wood, right here.
It's a good analogy. I really like that.
Let's. I just had to think of something close to my horrible.
You can't do the airbrush without the compressor, you guys.
Our pick of the day comes from Will in Maidenhead. Says, you mentioned in passing on yesterday's show that computers had mastered checkers decades ago. Kind of goes with our Go conversation. Totally. There's a real good book out there. This one's called One Jump Ahead. It's written by Jonathan Schaefer, who led development teams for the computer program. It's a fascinating story, and the descriptions of the software games against world champions Dr. Marion Tinsley are particularly gripping. Dr. Tinsley was probably the greatest checkers player ever over the course of his 45 years playing. He only ever lost 7 games, which seems pretty insane to me. So there you go. Something to check out. One Jump Ahead by Jonathan Schaefer. Sounds like it might fit that bill. If you have your own pick, you want to send it into the show, send it to feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. And you can get more picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. We have a message of the day. Dave writes in, says, my cousin works at Sears. Sears still exists? I guess it does. That's terrible to say. Plenty of people work at Sears.
Come on, man. Barely.
Barely. And we were talking one time about how they missed the internet by a couple of years and their network of small-town catalog stores that they eliminated. How cool would they have been if someone in a rural area, go online, order an item, and have it in the store in a day or two? Perfect. Dave. Interesting, right? Like, I guess so. Yeah, I guess that would have been cool. But too late, too little? I don't know. It's Sears, man. What do you get at Sears anymore?
Oh, bless. It's like Sears is like Sky Mall. And Sky Mall should also have gone digital a long time ago.
Yeah, why didn't they? I wonder. They went away, didn't they? They're gone.
Yeah, although apparently they caught on and they're now sort of creeping back onto some airline screens. I just read an article about that, and I was like, duh!
Well, I can get weird cat feeders again? Is that what you're telling me?
Hope springs eternal. I love those weird. I like the little things that help the old dogs get up on the bed.
Yeah, it was all right. It was a nice touch, but sadly gone. Another email here, a final one from Dee and Sarah in the land of whiskey and the land of weed. Wonder where those two cities are. Anyway, we'll find out. Write in with some news about their city. Amsterdam, of course, is changing fast. There is an e-vehicle charge points all over the city. I passed at least a dozen of them on a 20-minute tram ride this very afternoon, and they were all being used. Ego mini pure electric rental cars are very common sight here, and I'm saying this wrong. Schiphol Airport is what I'm going to say. It's all in all of its glory, and it's getting more and more executive travel scooter things that look like Segways with stools on top. How does that look? I'm trying to imagine that. Segways with stools on top. All right, fine.
Sounds dangerous.
That's a terrible view.
How to be even more precarious.
Yeah. Says, I'll try and get more details on those next time I'm flying through and see one. In reference to your recent news about the Raptors and the drones, Amsterdam has a reputation for doing things a bit different. The road sweepers here use witches' brooms, and a non-small portion of some of the city repairs in the Bos, that's the city forest, weird, are still done with an old-school twine. Old-school twine. Ah, I remember the days of the old-school twine. It doesn't surprise me to see that, or a city that uses nature to its advantage. Almost every food-serving business has a resident cat, and unlike London or Glasgow, I've never seen a rent-to-kill advert on a rat trap. It is just doing it again. Even the EV charger stations are now a sign of that. I guess a greener way forward for a city bursting under the weight of its own population and traffic. That is a big, long sentence.
That was a heck of an email, bro.
That was the land of whiskey and weed, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. that was champion work.
Well, thank you for that, dear writer, and we hope.
But I have to say, reading this, I just think to myself, get it together, San Francisco.
Well, it would go a long way, wouldn't it?
Even a little bit. You know what? If you just replace BART with little Segway things with stools on top, that all by itself be improved.
Aren't you convinced that it's just going to be Uber town? They're just going to change it to Uber USA. It won't even be San Francisco, California anymore.
Well, Uber's coming to Oakland, so I'm a little worried about the town that I live in becoming Uber USA. I mean, look, San Francisco's always been, we're off topic, it's always been a boom and bust town, and there will probably be a bus that restores balance to the force, but man, this is a city that feels far gone right now.
Well, Europe is always ahead on this stuff. You've been forever be able to rent weird little bike things and stuff in France and other places, and it's nice to hear that this continues throughout much of Europe, but we're slow over here to do it, man. I don't know what our deal is.
We don't care about infrastructure. We only care about disruption.
That's right. Disrupt the market, and it's kind of interesting.
Maximize value for shareholders.
You say that, but it's actually kind of there's a little bit of truth in that. Like, Uber doesn't exist except everyone else was too slow to do anything with any sort of infrastructure or changes to the way things worked with transportation. So the necessity forced that to happen, and people don't like Uber, but at the same time, like, how is she going to get that kind of change? If they're not going to change infrastructure, then you have to wait for someone to disrupt the market.
That's true, except that Uber exists on top of public infrastructure, which is crumbling quickly. So as soon as Ubers start falling through broken bridge holes or holes in bridges, there's still an argument for public infrastructure being maintained, improved, and safe that is not happening in the Greater Bay Area.
Yeah, you don't want the Uber driver through a hole is a very bad thing for Uber, for the city, and for the people in that car.
I used to commute over this is a diversion, but I used to commute over the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, which goes from the East Bay to Marin County. Yeah. And one day on my commute home, the traffic is always terrible, and I've heard from, Caltrans people that, like, it's just, they were like, the bridge is just not in great shape. So one day I'm driving home and all traffic to the bridge is closed off and rerouted because a hole opened up in the bridge. Like a sinkhole, except it went down to the water.
Yeah.
That is the state of our public infrastructure nationwide. So, like, Uber, what are you going to drive on? What are you going to drive on?
Yeah, you can't. You're right. Uber doesn't work if you don't have a good road. It's not just apps, folks. You don't need holes in your bridges. I'm with you there.
It's not just apps. It's also bridges.
It's also bridges, right? And cars and people and gas. Molly, it's a huge pleasure having you on today. I can't believe we got the opportunity to do this. Molly Wood, for those who don't remember, when she was with Tom doing way back in the day doing Buzz Out Loud in 2009, on their 1000th episode was the day I announced I was jumping out and doing my company full time. And here we are, full circle, talking about VR and holes in bridges.
Yay!
Thank you for being here so much. That was awesome.
I'm so delighted. That was so fun.
Tell people where more Molly can be found, because certainly they're on the hunt for that.
Oh, because they're the best. I am on the Twitter at Mollywood, and you can find me at marketplace.org. I occasionally fill in as host, so you might just hear it happen on the radio, but blog posts and stories are also over there on the website.
if there's any kind of tech earnings report news or anything, I always can count on turning that show on and hearing you talk. So
That is my jam. I have a hard-hitting upcoming feature on pet technology because I got a new puppy, and
awesome.
I'm gonna write that little bastard off.
Deduction.
I love it. Len Peralta, been here the whole time drawing stuff.
Yeah.
Len, why don't you show off what you got? I'm gonna point the camera to you, buddy. Here we go.
Sure thing. Well, VR and the assets and the Unreal Engine. I kind of went with low-hanging fruit here as far as developer wearing the Oculus Rift, saying that the Unreal VR engine really makes the game assets look super real. Hint, hint. The actual monster is standing there in front of him and is eating his friend Fred. So, but the fun thing of this the fun thing of this image is this little thing here in the corner, which I did after I had drawn most of it. It's Molly and Scott saying, "I'm Molly Wood, I'm Scott Johnson, and we approve of this cartoon by Len Peralta." It is an approved piece of art by Molly and Scott. You don't really get that very often.
No.
So.
No,
But-
it was the same assumption
I'm
too.
glad
And
we-
I love how you've made my jacket look a little bit like a Jedi robe. I love that.
You're on. Who was the guy that I looked at? The guy that's always helping Lando in the second movie. So it's very Star Wars.
Lobot, come on now.
Like Lobot there.
Lobot. No, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun drawing, and so there you go. Hopefully,
People can find this somewhere after the fact, right? So they can go get it.
yes, they can actually go to lenperaltastore.com. It's there right now on the front page. And also, if you're interested, if you don't want to, if you're not into physical pieces of art, you go to my Patreon, patreon.com/Len, and you can back me, and you get each one of these at as a digital file. So go check that out. Yeah.
All right, living in the digital world. Thank you so much, Len. Thank you again,
Absolutely.
Molly. Thank you guys all for being here and listening. Oh gosh, that's going to do it for us. Oh, big thanks to all the patrons of the show. Tom is a man of much humbleness, but I will say on his behalf that you guys fuel the machine. Make sure you check out the new moved URL, patreon.com/DTNS. Rich from lovely Cleveland put together a best of post show. If you're a patron and you didn't see it, check it out on patreon.com/DTNS or in the treasure chest. I think that's going to do it for us. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Call us 512-59-DAILY. That's 593-2459. You catch the show live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. AlphaGeekRadio.com, DiamondClub.tv, and visit the website dailytechnewsshow.com. See you guys next time. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Yay!
Great
We did
show.
it! Oh, that was so fun.
And look, at the end of the show, you get a baby.
Oh,
Realistically, I think if you were going to develop applications using a VR interface, it'd probably be best for rapid application development.
oh yeah, no, like quick prototyping of stuff and
Like, basically a 21st century Visual Basic.
yeah.
Totally.
I'm sorry, Roger, I know you were speaking, but all I could see was the baby.
Oh, the baby.
Would you like some titles for this show?
Sure, let's vote on them real quick.
All right. We've got Just Assume It Ends in Doom, which I like because it has an internal rhyme structure. Of course, we've got Lady Tom.
Lady Tom.
We've got Sock the Phone, which I actually really like.
Oh, I do too. That one's good.
Roger, that baby's so cute.
I
Good
know.
job.
We've got
You did it. You did it.
we've got Gogol, not
Okay.
Google, but Gogol, which I like.
Alright.
I accept your future with broken arms. That seems so disturbing.
Yeah.
Oh, and Nintendo puts a sleep tracker to sleep.
I like Sock Phone. What was it?
Sock the Phone.
I like Sock the Phone a lot.
But there is also non-sandbox child process, which, that's something. So those are the options that you could do.
I don't know. Well,
I kind of like, what do you like?
I got a little distracted by the baby.
That's okay.
I like Sock the Phone. What?
Showbot.tv.
I liked it's not just apps. There's also bridges.
That's
I knew that
true.
wasn't in your option list.
No, not just apps. You need bridges. Yeah, there's a lot in the lower section here, like
the Doom.
I
like the internal rhyme of the Doom. Just
Yeah.
assume there's always Doom. I mean that's
Yeah.
like a little.
Just assume it ends in doom.
Just assume it ends in Doom.
Because really, doesn't everything?
Yeah.
We're going to get real about it.
The logical conclusion of every tech storyline is Doom.
Doom.
True.
Yep.
Good.
So true. Okay, so let's just just assume it ends in doom. Scott Johnson, how you doing on your situation?
Good. I'm exporting stuff. Everything's going great.
Pat is doing all the publishing today.
Yeah, I'll be doing everything.
Oh, dang.
Because it's time for the contributors to learn how to do all the stuff that Tom does. That I know how to do.
Good luck with the rest of them, by the way.
I trust them all.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I'm going to get several emails. It's
I think
okay.
I was the easy pick. That's all I'm saying. I do this every day, the same kind of thing, and I think I was the easy pick. But it'll be fine. No problem.
Yeah.
Justin will poop those files out. They'll be perfect.
Do it. The sound will sound amazing when Veronica does it.
Yep. No issues at all. It won't be left ear only. It'll be fun.
Yep. Patrick can handle it, and then on Friday, Darren will put a little thing in it, and then you press the wrong button. It says, "Hello, I am Skynet."
Hack it.
Yep.
Oh man.
I think we're good. I guess that's it. Molly, you can probably.
Yeah, my apologies to the chat room. I was so flustered that was the one thing that I couldn't pull up. So.
That's all right. They love you anyway.
Next time.
They were upset that you did not go on a rant at some point.
Oh, guys.
Sounds like the chat room. Yeah. I
Yeah.
went like a little mini rant about the iPhone. Come on, that was like at least a mini rant.
Northern California roads and things. It was all right.
Yeah. The hole that opened up in the bridge.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good rant.
I was really mad about all kinds of stuff.
Wait, doesn't the bridge collect toll? That particular bridge collects toll.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
The toll bell rules or the bell tolls for you when you go to that bridge.
Both ways, or raise the toll because obviously they're short on money because the toll is meant to pay for the bridge.
Yep. Oh no! I mean, this is massive corruption. Bay Area wide is all I can assume.
You know what's perverse is like out where I live, like the roads. As soon as PG&E comes through and digs everything up, they repave it within like 2 months, so it's all brand new blacktop. But you go with some parts of the Bay Area, and it's just like they didn't fix it. They fix it and then they patch it, and then you just have like a bunch of jaggedy, uneven, road patches and stuff, and it's just
when I was growing up in Montana, it would be really you knew that there were certain parts of the state that would have like great paved roads and paved driveways like up to people's houses, which is no joke in Montana because it's the difference between having to own a 4x4 and not. And it would just basically be like who had the county supervisor.
Yeah.
And like everyone knew it. I mean, you were just like, oh yeah, it's the county supervisor, blah blah. Like he's got pavement.
Yeah. But look at that face. Look at the little face.
I know, but show me the baby one more time. Oh my god, look at that baby.
Makes all that stuff better. You have a baby.
Speaking of which, I gotta get home to my baby puppy.
Yep.
Who was puking his guts out when I left earlier.
Oh.
He's okay. I think he's all right. It's just that I'm a bad mom and I let him eat a toy.
You sat there in front of him. Eat this toy, please.
Well, he was so busy and he loved it and he was so happy. And then I was like, oh shit, he's probably really ingesting a lot of that. And then sure enough, like, poor baby.
Good
and
luck.
Then, of course, what did I do? I put him in his little pen area and I was like, peace out.
Well, good luck with
Peace out,
that.
dude.
I got a podcast. All right, guys, that was an absolute delight.
Totally fun. We'll see you later. Hopefully do it again.
Okay, yes. All right.
See you later. Bye. And I have to stand up since I've been sitting for 3 hours. So.
Oh my gosh.
It's not good. That's a sedentary lifestyle. You need a VR art room like me. That's what
I need. Yeah. I just need to. I just need to be able to stand.
Scott, are you going to get a VR art room?
I'm not going to do the room, probably not. Well, and the Oculus is less dependent on such things. But if I ever end up with the Vive, we have this one storage room that nothing is happening in right now, and I'm considering it. But only if I need to be compelled, though. I need to see reasons why that makes a million reasons why it's better. Like, it has to be a lot better for me to, like, dedicate that kind of square footage.
Well, you could rent it out. Income.
That's true. Yeah. Tromping through my house. Oh, man. Kind of weirdos looking for, like, pervy VR experiences. You never know. Oh, should I stop video or what? How do I do that?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can stop it whenever you want.
All right, I'm gonna log off. See you
All right.
guys later.
See you later, Len.
Take care.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Later. I don't talk to Len enough. All right, I'm going to hit
I know.
stop broadcast.
Stop broadcast.
Bye, video people.
Bye, video people.